In the quiet town of Millfield, a man everyone trusted sat on the front steps of his mansion one October night, shirt torn, blood on his face, shaking as he whispered, "They took her, they took my wife." His name was Michael Harrow, respected businessman, town councilman, the kind of man neighbors described as perfect, reliable, someone you could trust with anything, and now he was the victim, or so it seemed. His wife Lena was gone, missing without a trace, and Michael wasted no time stepping into the role of grieving husband. He cried at press conferences, begged for her safe return, held candlelight vigils where the whole town gathered to comfort him. But while the community believed his every word, one detective did not. Her name was Erin Cole, young, new, underestimated, dismissed by her superiors as someone who asked too many questions, but Erin noticed things others didn't. The cuts on Michael's face were shallow, too neat, almost like they were made on purpose. The break-in showed no forced entry, just a sliding door left open, staged, and Lena's phone, when it turned up in a storm drain, was spotless, too clean, no fingerprints at all. Erin told her captain, but he laughed her off, said Michael was respected, said she should show some respect, but Erin couldn't shake the feeling that the man everyone pitted was hiding something. So she went back to the Harrow mansion, searching every room, and then she saw it, a locked door tucked behind a laundry shelf. Michael had once waved it off as just a wine cellar, but Erin wasn't buying it. She came back with a warrant. When the door was forced open, the smell hit, first mold, damp concrete, and something worse, and in the shadows, chained to a pipe, was Lena, alive, bruised, barely able to whisper. The woman Michael begged the world to help him find was beneath his own house the entire time. Officers stormed upstairs. Michael was dragged from his study, screaming, "You don't understand, I was protecting her," but his mask had fallen. The golden boy was exposed as a monster. As Lena was carried up the stairs, she turned to Erin and whispered words that froze her blood. He wasn't working alone. At trial, Michael tried to twist the story again, claimed Lena was unstable, claimed she locked herself up, but the jury saw through it: guilty, kidnapping, false imprisonment, attempted murder. For Erin, the underdog detective dismissed by everyone, justice was finally hers. She had taken down the most powerful man in town. But justice always leaves shadows, because the night after the verdict, Erin returned home and found a letter slipped under her door. No postage, no name, just one sentence in jagged handwriting: "You found her once, but next time, detective, you won't." Which meant Michael had been telling the truth about one thing: he hadn't acted alone, and whoever helped him was still out there. Detective Erin Cole stared at the letter slipped beneath her door, one chilling sentence written in jagged handwriting: "You found her once, but next time, detective, you won't." It wasn't from Michael, he was already behind bars. This was from someone else, the person Lena whispered about, the one working alongside him. Erin took the letter straight to her captain, but once again he dismissed her, said it was just a cruel prank, said the case was closed. But Erin knew better. The handwriting wasn't random, it matched something she had already seen in the Harrow mansion. She went back through the evidence photos, carefully scanning every surface. Then she saw it, a set of invoices on Michael's desk, signed not by him but by his business partner, a man named Grant Fletcher. Grant had been Michael's closest friend for years, helped him run the hardware stores, was at his side during every vigil, every press conference, even comforting Michael in front of the cameras while Lena was chained in that basement. And now his handwriting was a perfect match to the letter slipped under Erin's door. Erin requested surveillance on Grant, but before it was approved, he vanished one night, gone from his home, his truck missing, his phone turned off. It was as if he had slipped into the shadows. Days later, a body washed up on the riverbank. Everyone thought it might be him, but the corpse was a stranger, someone with no connection to Millfield. But in the dead man's pocket was a business card for Harrow and Fletcher Hardware. Grant wasn't dead, he was covering his tracks. Then came the phone call, a woman's voice trembling, saying she had seen Lena days before the trial, not in Michael's basement, but in a cabin deep in the woods. She claimed Lena wasn't the only woman there. She swore she saw others tied up, terrified, begging for help. If she was telling the truth, then Michael and Grant had been running something far worse than anyone imagined. Erin tracked the call, but it was cut off halfway through, leaving only static and faintly in the background what sounded like footsteps, heavy, deliberate, approaching the caller before the line went dead. Erin knew the case wasn't over. Lena's rescue was only the beginning, and somewhere out there Grant Fletcher was still free, still hunting, still silencing anyone who dared to speak. That night Erin returned to her apartment and found another letter waiting for her, slipped under the door just like the first. This time it was only 2 words: "Check upstairs." And when she slowly looked toward her darkened stairwell, her blood ran cold. Because she wasn't alone in the house. Detective Erin Cole froze at the bottom of her stairwell, staring into the darkness, the second letter still trembling in her hands. 2 words: "Check upstairs." Her instinct screamed to call for backup, but something told her if she looked away even for a second she'd lose whoever was in her home. Step by step she climbed the stairs, her hand hovering over her holstered gun, her ears straining for movement, but the house was silent, too silent. Halfway up she noticed it, the faintest shadow shifting under the door of her bedroom. Someone was inside, waiting. She pushed the door open fast, gun raised, heart pounding, but the room was empty. The window unlocked, the curtains fluttering in the night breeze. Whoever it was had already slipped out, leaving only one thing behind. On her bed sat a tape recorder. Erin pressed play and a man's voice filled the room, calm, confident, mocking. It was Grant Fletcher. He said Michael was never the mastermind. Michael was just a shield, a distraction. He said the basement was only one piece of something much bigger, something spread across counties, something no one in Millfield was prepared to uncover. Then the tape ended with chilling words whispered close to the microphone. "You're already too late, detective." The next morning a missing persons report confirmed it. Another woman gone, vanished from her home without a trace. She worked at one of the Harrow and Fletcher hardware stores. The connection was undeniable. Erin presented the evidence, but once again her captain resisted, said the department couldn't chase phantoms, said she was overreaching, but Erin knew the truth. Grant Fletcher was running an operation and Lena's ordeal was only the beginning. Desperate, she went to Lena herself. Lena was still recovering, but when Erin asked about Grant, her eyes filled with terror. She whispered that she had heard him in the basement whispering to Michael, giving orders, reminding him of the rules, and she said she heard another sound upstairs during her captivity, footsteps belonging to more than one man. That meant there were others involved, not just Michael, not just Grant, but a network, a ring. Later that night Erin received a package on her doorstep, no return address. Inside was a single Polaroid photo. It showed the missing woman bound to a chair, blindfolded, terrified, but behind her was something far more disturbing. Taped to the wall was a note addressed directly to Erin. "Next victim is on you." And in the corner of the photo, barely visible, Erin spotted something that made her stomach drop, a police badge hanging from a nail. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel for more true crime stories just like this one. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel for more true crime stories just like this one. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel for more true crime stories just like this one.